for an MBA. My reason was that I wanted a change in my career path. 4 years working in tech, I realized this field is not for me. I want to actually get into the management side. So while I was working with Adobe, I got into product management. I was managing their Acrobat web platform. And that's when I realized that just having a BTech degree wasn't giving me enough exposure and was giving me enough skills change in my career manage this product well. So what I decided was I'll go for an MBA. I'll understand the economic side of it. I'll understand the business side of it, why every decision is made. So those were the reasons that made me go for an MBA. Those reasons might be totally different for you. So some of the reasons that you might go for an MBA are you need to change your career path, which was the case for me. I wanted to go from software engineering into product management. The second one could be you need to get an idea of how the business side of things work. So you might still continue to be in the tech background. So for example, there are a lot of people who are developers who go into the business side of things. So they do an MBA and they come back as an engineering manager. So they're still handling the development. They're not handling the product management side. But they want to understand how the business side of things work so that when a product manager gives them a set of requirements, they know what exactly those requirements are for. Then the next one is you need to widen your horizons by learning a myriad of subjects which are beyond tech. So honestly, I did not even know that MBA had such diverse subjects. So one of the very weird subjects that I came across was learnings from Bhagavad Gita. So that's not a subject you study anywhere else. Another one was personal values, goals, etc. I don't remember the full subject name, but it was regarding how to set up your personal values, how do you measure them, what are your goals in life. So that's very philosophical subjects that you won't study during your tech or during your engineering. So subjects like these are there in MBA curriculum, and not just these. I mean, there are a lot of subjects from all the different backgrounds. You have the option to choose as many electives as you want. So that's one of the reasons that you might want to go for an MBA. You want to access the business network. So a lot of people want to do a startup. You're very excited right after your college that I want to be my own boss. I want to have my own business. But then just your BTech or whatever tech you've done or just your idea is not sufficient enough. You need to have a business network through which you can scale it. You need to find like-minded people who can help you with your business. So all that network you can access through an MBA because there are a lot of people who have similar aspirations who've gone for an MBA. The next one is you just need a better salary. So that's a very valid reason. No judgment for anybody who wants to go for an MBA just because you earn better after an MBA. Typical salaries after an MBA are upwards of 20 lakhs per annum. So that's a very valid reason to go for an MBA as well. And the last one is personality development. So when you're in tech or whenever you're in a development function, mostly in the engineering side of the things, people are really shy and they don't really, I mean, they're mostly like introverts and they don't interact with a lot of people. Most of your projects are like individual projects. So you don't get to have a lot of personality development because you don't get a lot of leadership opportunities and you don't get to work a lot in teams. But the MBA curriculum is designed in a way that you have a lot of teamwork, you have a lot of life projects. So at any point of time, you have to take leadership. You have to have better communication skills. You have to have teamwork. So all of these help in developing your personality. So if any of these reasons they resonate with you as well, MBA might be a good option for you. And this is not an exhaustive list. You could have another reason. You just need to convince yourself and convince the interviewers that your reason for an MBA is valid and legit, and that you should just go ahead for it. So once you've decided that you really want to do an MBA and MBA actually suits whatever aspirations and career goals you have a lot of options in terms of an MBA. So you have the 1-year full-time MBA program. So a lot of institutes like ISB, a lot of institutes like, especially abroad, a lot of institutes have this 1-year full-time MBA program. So for 1 year, you have all the courses. Mostly these courses take in aspirants through GMAT. even ISB and all the different institutes abroad use GMAT as a screening mechanism so that they can take in the aspirants. The second one is the 2-year full-time MBA program, which is very common. Like most of the graduates that come in India go for this 2-year full-time MBA program. This is what I went for as well. And there are a lot of competitions that take in aspirants through to the 2-year full-time MBA program for different colleges. So CAT is something that everybody is aware of. Most of the IIMs taken people through CAT. There's also GMAT, then NMAT for NMIMS, then SNAP, Symbiosis, ZAT, XLRI, and like there are a lot of others depending on each of these colleges. Then you have the executive MBA program. Again, this executive MBA program is there for IIMs, for most of the good institutes in India as well as abroad. They take in people through GMAT, but there might be different variations of this depending on the college. So a lot of times, whenever you're working in a company, your company sponsors your executive MBA as well. If they think that it's good for your professional development, they might suggest you go for an executive MBA. Most of the classes are like in the evenings or during the weekends. And most like for executive MBA, usually the colleges have a requirement of having 4 to 5 years of work experience. So that's something you might have to look into if you want to do MBA after getting some work experience. Then there are part-time MBA programs and online MBA programs. I'm not very well versed with these, but these are very upcoming these days. In case they suit your requirements, you might just Google about these and look into these. But these are options as well. So the reason I'm giving you all of these options for an MBA is because MBA is not a very cheap program. So a 2-year or a 1-year MBA could have anything between 25 lakhs to 35 lakhs in India or 40 lakhs in India, and upwards of 60 lakh, 70 lakh, 1 crore if you're doing it abroad. There are not a lot of scholarships that are available. However, there are student loans which are available at very good interest rates. So if you're selected for a good MBA program, the banks are just willing to give you student loans without even any collateral. But yeah, so that's one part of it, the costing and then how to go about it. So you can get student loans, and like once you're done with your MBA, it's not very difficult to pay off that student loan, because like after your 2-year MBA, you're going to get a CTC of 20 lakh plus. You could pay your loan off in like 5 years, 10 years, up to you. And but however, there's also an opportunity cost for those 2 years you won't be working. So just factor in that as well. So whatever suits according to your requirements of full-time MBA program or a part-time MBA program, or if you want to go for an executive one after a few years, that's up to you. So some of the steps for going for an MBA. So first of all, you need to write the exam. So whatever MBA program you want to go for, let's say you want to go for a GMAT or a CAT, you need to write that exam. Now for that exam, the preparation would be very contingent on which exam you're going to go for. So both GMAT and CAT are aptitude tests. So a lot of engineers do not have difficulties cracking these. However, there are resources available. So there are online resources, and there are also coaching institutes like Career Launcher and Time that allow you to prepare for these. What I did not go for any coaching program because I was quite confident that I would be able to go through the aptitude test. There is a quantitative aptitude test, there is a verbal ability, there's logical reasoning. So you don't really require a lot of practice for the, I mean, you have to practice, but you don't need to require like go for a proper coaching program for this. However, you should be taking a lot of mock exams. So these mock tests, so you could go for either Career Launcher or Time or any other thing. If you do those mock tests, that'll give you an understanding of how the exam will go. So in that pressure scenario, if you're able to solve all of these parts, and it also give you an example of the format that the exam is going to follow. So do a lot of mock test as much as possible. So once that is done, you've crossed the written exam, you've got a good percentile. Now you would have calls from like a lot of colleges. Now, from all of these colleges would have different requirements. Some would require you to submit your SOPs, your LORs, your CV, and so so for all of these, so my suggestion is just while if you're planning to go for an MBA right after your college, make sure that you have good terms with some of the professors, and these could be ones where you've done your final project. These could be ones which would be beneficial for the subject they will go for. So for example, if somebody wants to go for an MBA in IT, or that's what your SOP says, that I want to do an MBA because I want to be product manager in IT. So somebody from your data science subjects, or somebody from your analytical subjects, would really help having an LOR from this one. Try to have something from like the professors, rather than, I mean, like you get it from the HOD or like the senior professors, that's like best. I went for my MBA after my work ex, so my LORs were mostly from my work experience, because that's what I wanted to shine in my CVs, and that's what I wanted to shine in my SOP. That I want to do an MBA because in my corporate career, I realized that I needed this, and my credentials are these because I've worked in product management. Um uh, Informally, so these are my credentials, these people worked with me, they can vouch for me. So that's what your LORs are for. SOP, as I said, why MBA is very important. So your SOP is mostly going to be why MBA and why that college. So if you have answers to that, your SOP is sorted. As far as your CV is concerned, follow the STAR method. I'm not sure if your placement committee has thought about that or not. So STAR is situation, task, action, response. So you tell about the situation, you tell about the task that you were asked to do, you tell about the action that you're supposed to take, you took in that situation, and then what was the response. So that's like the STAR method. For each of the points in your CV, make sure that you're following this criteria, because when the recruiters or whenever the admission committee try to look at that resume, they should have this idea of what happened and what action you took. So it makes it more readable. Then the next step is the GDs and the interviews. So some of the colleges might have a group discussion. Some institutes might have an interview. So depending on that, you need to prepare. These could be mostly current affairs topics, or topics related to the economic situation in the country, or about maybe any macroeconomic conditions. For example, should healthcare be privatized? What were your ideas about the budget that was recently announced? So for example, February time is when the budget's announced, so a lot of questions are around that as well. It could also be about the recent COVID scare and how different industries could adapt to the COVID situation. So for example, what would happen to the tourism industry in the future if COVID situation does not improve? So all of these questions, these are generally like your questions about current affairs and your general studies. So just need to make sure that you're well aware of what's happening in the world and what's happening around you. And then finally, you need to select the college of your choice. So you would have a lot of options in terms of selecting your colleges if you go through all of these interviews and GDs. This is a very important criteria, because there are a lot of considerations that go into selecting a college, which I'll come into on this slide. So the things to consider when selecting an MBA college is the curriculum and faculty. So IIMs by default will have a really good faculty. There are a lot of other colleges like XLRI, like NMIMS, like SPGen. So all of these have really good faculty. But if you're not going for these colleges, if it's a private college, that's also fine, that's also fair. But you need to make sure that whatever curriculum they're following is top class. Their faculty is really good. So there's this masters union which has come up, which employs faculty from a lot of companies, and they've got really good credentials as well. So you need to make sure, I mean, you need to do your due diligence in making sure that whatever MBA college you're selecting has a good curriculum, has a good faculty. Try and talk to the students who are already there in case you're considering one of these colleges, and try to understand how they teach, and is the faculty really good. The next thing is the placements. A lot of people claim 100% placements. A lot of people claim so and so CTC being awarded, but just make sure, just talk to the people and understand if that's actually true. The next thing is the internship opportunities. By default, most of these places have a mandatory internship in the first year itself. So try and see what all internship opportunities there are, and if you're able to convert those internship opportunities. So for example, for me, I got my PPO during my internship itself. So my second year was very, very chill because I knew that I've gotten selected in this company. I mean, I did not stop preparing or I did not stop studying, but it really helps because you have that mental peace that, yeah, after this internship, I'm going to join this company. And in case you like it, you might want to stick with it. So that's one thing. Then accreditation and ranking. I've seen a lot of colleges, which are private colleges, have their MBA degrees are not accepted anywhere because they don't have the right accreditation. In fact, for all IMs as well, they were only allowed to give diplomas earlier. It was only 3 or 4 years back that they were started giving MBAs, which is a proper degree. So make sure if it's a diploma or a degree, you need to make sure. I mean, it doesn't really matter in terms of your career aspirations, but in case there are some places that might require you to have a degree rather than a diploma. So just make sure whatever accreditation they have and what's the ranking of the college. And then alumni network. So this is something very, very important. If your alumni network is strong, that vouches for the college because those people want to connect with their alma mater. So just make sure the alumni network is good. You might get good connects, and they might help you in your career progression. So next, we come to the MBA specializations. So MBA specializations, a lot of new age MBA specializations are coming up. The core ones were finance, marketing, general management, human resources, operations, and strategy. But a lot of newer MBA specializations like business analytics, like AI and machine learning, like healthcare management, public policy, agribusiness, sustainable business, family business. So these are newer MBA specializations that are coming up. Not saying one is better than the other. But yeah, you need to identify what your career aspirations are. If you really want to go into healthcare management, you might consider doing an MBA in healthcare management, but that's gonna restrict the number of opportunities that you can go for. But if you're going for something like a general management, you have a lot more options in terms of the companies that you can apply for or the career options that you have. So in case you're very, very passionate about business analytics, or you're very strongly aligned with tech and you want to go for AI and machine learning, you could go for these newer MBA specializations as well. And so, yeah, it totally depends on what your career aspirations are. Okay, so the career choices after an MBA. So as you can see, this is a non-exhaustive list. You could be a product manager, you could be an entrepreneur, you could be a digital marketing manager, or a business development manager. All of these different career choices are available to you. It depends on what type of an MBA you want to do. So for example, if we talk about finance, you could be, once you do an MBA in finance, you could go into either investment banking, you could be a financial analyst, you could be the CFO of a company, you could go into chartered accountancy as well. And then if you're doing a marketing MBA, you could be a brand manager, or you could be a digital marketing manager, or you could uh, you could handle the marketing portfolio of a company as a CMO. When you go for a general management, you could be a category manager, or you could just handle the business operations of a company. So for example, Tata, Mahindra, all of these people employ general managers. So these are examples of career choices after a general management MBA. You could also go into human resources. So most of your technical recruiters, your normal recruiters in companies, your training and development officers, your chief of staffs, most of these profiles come from human resources MBA. As an operations management expert, you could have something, you could be an operations consultant, or you could be an operations manager. You could be a category manager where you're handling, uh, for example, for a company like Amazon, if you want to ensure that whatever inventory that's coming in is properly tagged, it's going to the right people, it's going to the right warehouse, all of those things are handled by an operations manager. Then the strategy management. So most of the CEOs or executives or business consultants go for strategy MBA. So in this specialization, you study more subjects like corporate strategy, you study subjects like business due diligence and corporate valuation. So all of these specializations are open, and all of those career choices open up after your strategy MBA. So, for example, a lot of people from strategy and marketing also go into product management. People from AI and machine learning go into product management. So it's up to you what specialization and then what your career choice is going to be. So as I mentioned, I was in Adobe. I wanted to be a product manager. I went to an MBA. And IIM Bangalore has a process where you don't specialize in a particular vertical. So you could select any courses that you want, and those are called electives in the second year. And you could have like a mix and match of these specializations. So most of the subjects that I chose because I really liked were towards marketing and strategy. And during my internship, I got into Accenture strategy, and I really, really liked business consulting. So suddenly, from why MBA, I want to be a product manager, I got into no, I really don't want to be a product manager. I really like this consulting space, so I want to be a strategy consultant. So it's okay for you to not know right now what you want to do, what specialization you want to do. Your first year gives you enough exposure to all of these subjects. So in the first year, you would be studying all of these subjects, and then you can identify what are your favorite subjects, what's your favorite specialization. Once you get into the MBA, and then you can change your path as well. So it's totally okay in case you came in with some other expectations and you're leaving with some other thing, which is totally fine. I got into as a into MBA as aspiring to be a product manager, but I got out coming out as a business consultant. I might go back to product manager, being a product manager in a few years. I don't really know. I'm really liking this space right now, but it's totally up to you. That being said, you don't really need to have an MBA to have a good career in your life. You could totally be rocking just having a BTech or not even having a BTech. So if you're passionate about what you want to do, if you give it your 100%, if you want to rise up in your life, you don't need a degree or a piece of paper to justify your ambitions, to justify your passion. So just make sure whatever you're doing, give you 100%, and I'm sure you guys will be successful. So that was all from me. And over to you, Anirudh.
Thank you, ma'am. It was really great hearing from you. We were really thankful that you made a large PPT for us. It was
No
really
problem.
understanding. Those whole points were very clear in that.
Great. And in case any of you have questions, just feel free to ask me.
Yeah, there are few questions in the chat box, but we will
Okay.
take them at the end for the Q&A session.
All right.
Right now, moving ahead, now I would like to call Abdul Vasik. He is also a GMI alumni, currently doing MS from the University of Freiburg, Germany, specializing in microsystems engineering with the focus of brain-machine interface. He's also completed his BTech from mechanical engineering in Jamia itself. He will enlighten us with his journey from Jamia to abroad. Vasik bhai.
Hello, can you hear
Hello.
me?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah, perfect. This is the most important thing. Itu. So, hello everyone. So let's move ahead straight with the presentation. Can you see the screen?
It's visible.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
So, first about me. So, my name is Abdul Wasik, and I did my BTech from Jamia Millia. I completed in 2019. I did in mechanical engineering. And right now I am doing masters in microsystems engineering. Microsystems engineering is like making machines, but very small, but like the width of the machines would be the size of a human hair. So that's small. So right now I'm specializing in biomedical applications. So everything that involves combining machines with the human body, like helping the blind see by putting camera in the eye, or helping the lame walk, by putting stimulators in the leg or in the spinal cord. All of things, all of those things come in my field. So yeah, my university is it's a tough name, but in short, it's called Unifreiburg. So I decided to give you an overview of what MS really is. What things would you experience in while doing MS, and and to motivate you about doing career from abroad, and like what are the pros and cons of moving abroad, studying in another country. So yeah, it's a different thing. Like it's totally different when you study in India and when you study abroad. So I presume most of you are doing bachelor's right now. So what things can you do from BTech? There are many things. Like, can you see my cursor?
Yes, where it is. Can you please move?
I'm just moving. Can you see it now?
Not really.
Okay. Yeah. So there are many possibilities after BTech, like doing masters and doing PhD and giving competitive examinations like GATE, ES. And if you want something non-tech, you can also go to MBA. And yeah, and after masters, you can also do job. And if you want, there's another MBA called Executive MBA, which Ms. Mavish spoke about. So yeah, these are all the different possibilities that you can do. Most of the possibilities that I could think of. So, how is masters different from MTech? MS means Master of Science, so it means it's more research oriented.
Vasik bhai,
Like in
are you on
yes,
fourth slide of your PPT? Because we can't see that fourth slide. We are still on our first slide.
okay.
Yeah, I guess your screen has stopped. It has stopped presenting.
Can you see it now?
We have to wait. Yeah, now it is on the fourth slide. Third slide it is.
Yes. Now it
Yeah,
should be in the fourth.
yeah, now for the fourth.
So, a lot of us don't really have a good idea of what MS really is and how it differs from MTech. So, MS usually includes thesis at the end of the course program, while MTech is more, I would say, industry oriented. It includes mandatory projects or maybe internships. Yeah, if you do it from abroad, MS would take generally 2 years, maybe more, and uh, and in abroad it takes generally 1.5 years for MTech. And we can do PhD after MTech in India, but it's a little different outside. So MTech does not include any kind of research. So this means you cannot do a PhD normally. Normally, there are some paths where you can go for a PhD after doing MTech, but it's a long way. I mean, you would have to be very good at the industry, at the practice, and maybe you do some of the research there, like work in a research department, and then you can apply for a PhD. But for MS, it's very easy to do a PhD. So MS from abroad, there are many positive points and negative points for that. I would say for me, it opened a whole new possibility. Like I did my mechanical engineering in 2019, and I started looking for different fields in which I could go for masters. I wanted to do masters because because I wanted to know more about my field, and I wanted to have some growth before actually coming to working. So what I did is I searched what the different fields would be related to my mechanical engineering. So when you do masters from abroad, you gain a very different perspective about things, and there's less competition outside and more job opportunities. And also you will there are many different many different fields and many different specializations with which you can do your masters. It's not exactly like in India. I would say if there are 10 different fields 10 different fields for masters, in abroad doing MS it would be 20. And also the bad thing about studying from abroad is you have to face another country, another language, and also there's culture shock. We are used to Indian life, Indian style, but we have to live in another country. So it's not at all easy in the first days, but yeah, it's a bad side. And also you would be far from family and friends when you study outside. So if you do masters, if you do masters from abroad, you can gain more experience with better professors if you do it with good universities, and you can get a job quite easily with a, I would say, high package. So I'm doing masters in Germany. So I thought it would be good to point out how it's different from the world, from the rest of the countries. So Germany comes in one of the best countries for engineering, apart from USA, and it also has almost no tuition fees. Almost no, I put a, usually it's very less. I mean, you would have to pay for a semester about, I would say, 300 euros, 300 multiplied by 90, about 30,000 per semester. So yeah, as compared to Canada, as compared to UK, as compared to US, it's almost nothing. And also Germany has a very comprehensive welfare system. Like it has one of the best healthcare systems in the world. Like you pay insurance every month. It's mandatory for everyone who's living in Germany. And yeah, and if something bad happens, you don't have to pay anything. Just 10 euros. That would be equal to 1,000 rupees for no matter how big the problem is. And also there's job security, which means that Germany has a system that if by any means you get expelled from the company and you are paying taxes in a good manner, then the government will pay you while you are unemployed, at least for 6 months, till you find a new job. So yeah, job security, good insurance, good healthcare system, good infrastructure, good quality of life. It comes, yeah, and it's also in the center of Europe. So if you want to explore other countries while you're free, yeah, it's very easy. But all of these things, like good insurance, good healthcare system, good job security, comes with a cost. Usually we think that when we go to outside to do abroad for masters, for studies, in the first 2 years of after completing our studies, when we do job, we will be extremely rich. And yeah, it is true for countries like US or for Australia, but you don't get such things like free healthcare or free unemployment services for 6 months. So this means that where does it whole system come from? It comes from the taxes of the people that live in Germany.
There is a question popping in the chat box at very high speed. The question is that how did you went to Germany?
Yeah.
How did you got the College of Germany? That what was the medium and what was the way? Many ones are trying to ask.
Yeah. So I came to Germany. I did my bachelor. I completed my bachelor's in 2019, and initially I wrote GATE exam, but I was not very happy while giving the exam because you know, because I didn't want to do MTech, and I also didn't. I wanted to basically move abroad. So what I did is I started preparing for what things I would need for MS. Like you would need, first of all, you would need IELTS. It's very important. And I first of all collected all the things that I would need, like IELTS and SOPs and LORs. Yes, and while I was preparing for my English exam, my IELTS, I started looking for different colleges and different universities and different countries where I could go. So the main reason for me selecting Germany was almost no tuition fees, and yeah, and another reason was that I found this very nice course of microsystems engineering, which I wanted to apply for. So so the first thing I did after completing my bachelor's was I prepared for IELTS, and in about 2 weeks, 2 weeks I took I mean 4 or 5 days to prepare for IELTS, and then in 1 month I was with the result of IELTS. Then I started collecting all the documents like transcripts and provisional certificate and SOPs, LORs. Uh, the thing about LORs is, yes, you have to make good terms with the professors, but and yes, and for SOP is very important for anywhere you go. For SOP, it is the like imagine you have one document to present of your whole profile, and that will decide whether you get accepted or not. So you have to write really well for SOP. You have to write what you did in bachelor's, how you are better, how you think you deserve the program, and what do you want to do after doing masters, and yeah, and make sure no grammatical mistakes. That's very dangerous. So then after giving IELTS, I had my documents, transcripts, LORs, SOP, provisional certificate, and I started filing applications. I went to some websites to know about different countries and to know more about my field. I'm from mechanical engineering. I only wanted to go either in design or either in aerospace engineering. So, so that one of the things I want to say, that don't limit yourself to your field. There are many opportunities apart from your field where you can apply for. My field, the subject I am studying right now, is not at all related to mechanical engineering, but I can apply. But like it's an intercultural, yeah, mm, it's a multi professional thing. Anybody like from mechanical engineering, from electronics can go here. So there can be things that you don't know yet in the fields, and you would really like, and you would, it would be interesting for you. So try to look for more, try to widen your search when you look for colleges, and when you look for fields. And I would say it would come at last. Okay.
Yeah.
So Germany versus the world. Yeah, and I think it would be good to point out some myths that we all have before moving out. Education in Germany is very hard. Yes and no. Like you see in India we study how much we study for the exams. Only 1 week before the final exam. If you do it here, it would be difficult. Like in Germany, the education system is the way they teach is that you have to do weekly tasks, and these tasks would have you prepare for the exam. So if you do it that way, if you don't collect everything for the final days, then it would be okay. And the people who say that Germany is very hard, studying in Germany or anywhere else is very hard, it's because of two things. They don't do it correctly, like they do everything at the end, or they are in the wrong field. And if you are in the wrong field, then you will not be able to do everything on time, and it will be easy for you to do when you like it. And the second point is research experience matters a lot in bachelor's when you apply for masters. Not exactly, because research, if you have given research papers while in doing your bachelor's, they will only count if they match with the field you are applying for. And if they are different, it's not much use. If you put it in your application, and if you don't put it, it won't matter much. But if you have a paper in your field, then it would be beneficial for a profile. I would say a lot much beneficial. And if you guys have done some research about Germany, people say Germans are rude. Yeah, it's okay, but it's a bit stereotypy. Not all, only 5% of them. I have not met any German in my 1 year who's rude. So yeah, I can say that. And yeah, when you move abroad, uh, you may think that yeah, you're already successful. I mean, you have come a long way from India to another country, but that's just the start of a new journey. Yeah, it's not complete success. You have a whole life ahead, and yes, it gives you a special advantages. It gives you a head start in your career, but and it also opens new doors. And yes, for Germany, I would say the most important thing in your profile is your grades. Absolutely. In when you go for US or Canada or another country, grades are important, but you may cover those up with your other things like your extracurricular activities or your GRE exam. But the most important thing for Germany is people here really look at your grades. So if you are doing bachelor's right now, you have not completed it, you have a very good chance of making your profile better by simply scoring good in bachelor's. And yes, MS is not the same as doing MTech in India, as studying in India. You will have to do work continuously, study continuously. But yeah, in the end, after you will be done with your MS, it's an investment. It will require hard work, and it will also require money for living. So after you complete a master's, uh, it will be neutralized because the opportunities you will get will be far bigger than the investment you put in your masters. And yeah, if you plan on coming back to India for in 2 3 years, I would say not do it because it's not worth the investment to to go to another country, study for 2 3 years, and then make some expenses and then come back. People usually either stay, or if you wanna come back, you may come in 6 or 7 years when you have built sufficient advances in your career. And yes, if you're not already done with your bachelor's, then I would say it's better to plan early. I started planning for my master's, for my moving abroad, after I did my bachelor's. So I think that I would have, if I had uh, in my mind from my third year or from my second year, I would have taken more steps with my strengthening my profile, and yeah, and maybe yeah, it puts you in an advantage, of course, if you start early than you start late. And German is very important for Germany because everyone talks in German. If you want to live here, then you really should know German. And it would be easier for you if you have already decided coming to Germany. It would be better for you if you start learning German while you are in India, because you won't have that much time here. So, what this quote, this quote was one of the main factors for me to choose masters doing abroad, because I really wanted to get expand my career by studying abroad, yeah, gaining new experience and living in a new country. So, what's the recipe for that? So right now, if you're in bachelor's, you would have to explore your fields and know and explore what you love and what you like in your field. I won't say that you should uh, you should not go to directions other people have gone to simply because they have gone to, and you think it would be better for you to. Form your goals and set a time frame, like to for your profile. Form your goals like you were like one of the goals should be improving your if you improving your grades, and set the time frame like when I complete my bachelor's, I would be ready, and in 3 months you should be done with your search of countries and of courses and of fields. Yeah, if you do it every day, little by little, it would pay out in the end. And now, for preparing for IELTS, I would say uh, there are two main exams, IELTS and GRE. IELTS is usually more for IELTS. Uh, IELTS is for determining if you're eligible, if you know enough English, and GRE determines if you know English and if you have good aptitude. So it takes two factors into account. So for IELTS, I would say uh, Cambridge University prints an official guide for IELTS every year. So when I prepared for IELTS, I took that and I did some practice papers online. It has 4 sections: reading, writing, listening, speaking. So first I gave a practice test, and then I came to know at what level am I really in, and how much should I study for IELTS to improve my score. And then I would say there are two main sources for your material. The one is the official guide for IELTS, and the others are practice papers. You can find them online. And for GRE, I would say the best material for GRE would be the official guide. There are three parts for that. This is the best book on the planet for preparing for GRE, and and for improving your vocabulary for GRE, I would say there's an app on the Play Store called Magoosh. It really helped me. I used that for improving my vocabulary, and it took me 1 or 1.5 months to prepare for GRE. GRE is a bit tougher than IELTS, so it demands more preparation. So all the best, everybody.
Thanks,
And
bhai.
any questions you have,
Yeah, there are a lot of questions
I would be
in
happy
the chat
to answer all
box.
of them, as
Yeah,
many
now
as
we
I
can
can.
hold on for the Q&A session also. I'll take the question one by one. You and Mavish, they can answer it. There was one question for you that how is lifestyle in Germany? मतलब हमारी वहाँ की रहन सहन कैसा होगा? What is our culture? जैसे यहाँ पे उठते हैं सुबह 9 बजे का कॉलेज होता है. What is their thing? What do people like do? How are the professors? What's the main basic lifestyle?
So Germans are very punctual.
Okay.
Like if something starts at 12 o'clock, it will start at 12 o'clock. If you even if you are in a if even if you are meeting with friends in a cafe, if you guys decide that you will meet at 4, if you come at 4:03, then you are late.
Yeah, they are
And
punctual at least.
also, yeah, and also people are more focused in rules. Like you and people here in Germany are more kind of reserved. Like like they don't make friends so easily with with a person from another country. But if you make friends with them, they're very nice.
Okay. There was one question of mine for Mavish D. D, are you online?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. The question was ki we often do MBA from Indian universities, from Indian institutes, and then there are many chances that yes, we can move to abroad for our further life. So, what are those things and what are those possibilities? Many people used to say in our culture that yes, if you're going to do MBA, you will move abroad. The chances of getting abroad will be very high.
Yeah. So to answer that, it actually is your preference if you want to stay in India or move abroad after your MBA. I had a few opportunities where I could have moved to the Middle East or I could have moved to Singapore. It so after an MBA, it obviously opens a lot of management level positions for you, right? So once you do an MBA, you work in a multinational company which has offices across the world, and then there are very few people who have that expertise that they can lead a team. So an MBA allows you to be in that leadership position. So you do get an opportunity to move abroad. It's up to you if you want to move abroad or not. Those opportunities start opening up after like 1 or 2 years because they want to test out if you're a good fit for their global markets. But yeah, if you're working in a multinational company after an MBA, moving abroad is pretty easy.
Yeah, means that does have a merits.
It does definitely.
Yeah. There was one question for you, Vasik bhai, ki how much money do we have to deposit in the bank? Is there any specific amount for it? That yes, you have to set it.
Yes,
So what is it?
for Germany, you would require about 9 lakhs for 1 year. Like uh, there are three things. Oh, before you come to Germany, when you apply for your visa, they ask you if you have enough reserves. of money to be able to spend here for the first year. So either you can show that you have this much amount, which is approximately 9 lakhs for the first year, or if somebody is living, your relative or somebody who can sponsor you in Germany, then that's not needed. Then you simply can ask for a letter from him or her, from your relative in Germany, that yeah, I'm sponsoring this person for his complete stay in Germany. Then it's not needed.
And what is the main reason behind that fixed amount? What does the government seeks that we won't gonna run from there? कि हम उनकी चीजें लेके भाग जाएंगे.
वो ये देखते हैं कि आपके पास इतना पैसा है कि पहले साल आसानी से रह सकें कि नहीं,
अच्छा,
that you are,
तो ये
yeah.
अमाउंट पर कंट्री वाइज डिफर भी होती है.
Mm-hmm.
एंड
Per
वेयर इज इट
country wise differ
मैक्सिमम?
करती है. For Canada it's about 5 or 6 lakhs. For Germany 8 or 9 lakhs. Exact amount है uh, 10,000 to 236 euros.
ओके, गॉट द थिंग्स.
लेकिन लेकिन चेंज होता रहता है हर साल दो
या,
साल
इट डिपेंड्स ऑन द
बढ़ता
गवर्नमेंट.
रहता है, तो बढ़ता
तो
ही
जैसे
रहता है
अगर
कभी
हम
ना कभी.
जर्मनी आए तो आप हमें स्पॉन्सर कर देंगे?
नहीं, उसके कुछ रूल्स होते हैं शायद कि ये रिलेटिव होना चाहिए.
या,
और हाँ.
there was one question, Mavishji, that what about doing MBA in Germany after gaining 2-3 years of experience? Have you anything specific about Germany? I don't know why he asked.
I do not have a specific knowledge about Germany, but MBAs for MBAs abroad, it's generally preferable to have some work experience before you go for a GMAT. You either have like a very spectacular score in GMAT, or you have some relevant work experience that really helps in doing an MBA abroad from any country for that matter. I'm not really sure about Germany in particular. Probably Vasik can talk about this, but yeah, so that's true for all MBAs abroad.
Okay, means there is nothing specific about Germany in the MBA part.
Not really. I mean, even
Yeah.
if there is, I'm not aware of it.
Yeah.
Like what in the sense of specific?
No, the question was ki, what about doing MBA in Germany after gaining 2-3 years of experience? I guess that experience comes from India. And then that Mohammed Mohsin Ahmed wants to do that MBA in
Mm-hmm.
Germany.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. MBA, Germany is also good for MBA, not only for engineering.
What
But
about the GATE score? It does help in getting a college in abroad or Germany.
बहुत कम के लिए, सबके लिए नहीं. सिर्फ कुछ यूनिवर्सिटीज हैं जो ग्रेड का स्कोर एक्सेप्ट करती हैं, और उसमें भी अच्छा होना चाहिए. मतलब
So it is.
ऑन द लेवल ऑफ PSUs या फिर टॉप टॉप IITs.
अच्छा. देयर आर मेनी थिंग्स, जैसे कि एक इंडियन नॉर्मल कल्चर में माना जाता है हमारे घरों में कि आप एक गवर्नमेंट जॉब में जाइए तो ज़्यादा बेटर आपको इज्जत मिलती है. दैट्स लाइक कि यू आर इन अ गवर्नमेंट जॉब. सो व्हाट आर द थिंग्स दैट हम कर सकते हैं, दैट इज एमटेक के से पहले हमें जो जिया PSUs होती हैं उनमें जाने के लिए, या फिर उनके लिए कोई खास टिप्स कि वो एमटेक से पहले ही करें या
पीएस
एमटेक करें देन उनके लिए ट्राई करें, या फिर बीटेक के वक्त ही गेट के साथ उन चीज़ों के लिए लगे रहें?
नहीं, मेरे हिसाब से अगर PSUs में जाना है तो थर्ड या फोर्थ ईयर से गेट की तैयारी शुरू कर दें.
हम्म.
और दो दो 2 साल काफी होते हैं. मतलब थर्ड ईयर से इतनी सीरियस नहीं. थर्ड ईयर से कुछ सब्जेक्ट जो आपने पहले से पढ़ रखे हैं वो करें, और फाइनल ईयर में सीरियस तैयारी करें. और या तो 1 साल में या 2 साल में अच्छी रैंक ला सकते हैं PSUs के लिए.
Yeah, I got the answer. Mavishji, there is a question for you. I think it is a specific that how much percentile is required in CAT to be eligible to appear in further rounds of IIMs. I guess it's 99.
Um, so it actually depends on the college. I had some work experience and I had a percentile of 99. I got calls from IMEBC, but it really depends on your profile. So there are points for diversity, there are points for work experience, and as you keep adding, and there's also reservation for certain categories. So as you keep on adding these, the criteria keeps on getting relaxed. So for a general engineer male, so that's what people call GEM. The criteria is 99 plus. But even if you're 99 plus, you might not get calls from certain colleges. So which is why it's very important to work on your CV, because they also look at those CVs as well. So a good percentile, and yeah, so the percentile is a prerequisite, but you need to have a good profile as well. So make sure you've done some extracurriculars, you've got some position of responsibilities, being a part. I saw a couple of questions about clubs as well. So if you're a part of these clubs, you have a position of responsibility here. If you talk about these criteria in, I mean, all of these points in your interviews, that really helps. So it's good to have like a safe bet is 99 plus percentile. But yeah, even then you might not get some, I mean, it's a lot of luck based, to be honest.
It basically depends on whole profile, only not on 99 percentile.
Exactly.
Yeah. Bhaiya, there was a question for you that you had an SPI of 7.62. Did this hinder your application process in any way? Because as a normal, अभी तो online mode में बहुत number मिल रहा है, but if it goes on offline, it would be around 8.5. तो उससे कोई फर्क पड़ता है कॉलेजेस में एडमिशन लेने के लिए?
7.62 से फर्क पड़ता है क्योंकि 7.62 is not so enough for getting into good universities. तो वही मैं कह रहा था कि ये ग्रेड्स का पार्ट होता है, ग्रेड्स बहुत मैटर करते हैं जब भी जहाँ कहीं भी आप अप्लाई करते हैं. तो कोशिश ये होनी चाहिए कि अगर 9 से ज्यादा है तो बहुत अच्छा है, और अगर 8 से ज्यादा तो आना ही चाहिए SPI. Because if the SPI is less than 8, then you will have trouble getting into good universities.
So minimum में 8 बना के चलें, बाकी चीजें संभाल ली जाएंगी. There was a question for you, Mahvesh ji, कि while we are in a graduation period, हमें बहुत सी बार कहा जाता है कि आप internships करिए. बिना internships के आपको बाहर की दुनिया नहीं पता चलेगी, and it would be very helpful in the interview part, in the selection process of MBA. Then how does that internship part wala thing helps us, and what are the basic tips कि जिससे हमें internship के बारे में पता चले? What is the thing so that हमें वो चीजें जल्दी मिले? मतलब एक मीडियम जिससे कि हम उन्हें जल्दी जल्दी मिला पा सके.
So the best way, I mean, if your placement cell is giving some opportunities for some internships, that's like the one way to go for your internships. I personally did 2 internships where I was doing my BTech. One was a research internship at IIT Delhi. The second one was a corporate like TCIL, Telecommunication Consultants India Limited. So there I did one internship in my 3rd year. So the internships did help because, I mean, not for me per se, because I had a lot of work experience, so I was talking more about that. But if you're a fresher, then you can talk about these work experiences as your like criteria. I mean, you have all of these in your CV, these heads, right? Your work ex, your positions of responsibilities, and your extracurriculars. So for that work ex part, you could put in these internships. It's not very necessary to have internships, but it's good to have them in case you don't have a lot of POR points, or in case you have a lot of extra.
Sorry, I got my light cut out.
No worries.
There is a
And
question.
for
Yeah,
yeah,
bhai, you was
okay.
saying something.
And for masters, I would like to add, for masters from abroad, it would add to your profile very much if you do internship in the field that you are applying for the course. So that's what I said, that the first and foremost thing is to really decide if you want to do something from abroad or not. And if you decide that yes, you will, then the second most important thing is that you know which fields you want to go to. because on the basis of those selections you should choose an internship, and then you can choose an internship, and maybe if you work is for some time in India before coming to masters here, then research experience will only count if that is similar, that matches with your study profile in a masters.
There is a guy who asked that is there any specific number for IELTS to get qualified in colleges in Germany?
So it differs from universities, but
Okay.
the most universities ask for 6.5. सो
Okay.
6.5 सब इन टोटल 6.5 होने चाहिए, लेकिन किसी भी एक चार सेक्शन होते हैं, किसी भी एक सेक्शन में 6 से कम नहीं. इफ यू डू दैट
Okay.
देन यू आर सेफ एवरीवेयर.
So that was it. I guess now we are exceeding the limits of our session. Please, anyone, if you do have the questions, you can put it now. Otherwise, I will wrap up this event within 2 to 3 minutes. There is a question that what can we learn from Germany education system according to your experience over there?
So what I experience is that people, uh, like in India, uh, we we try to go to directions that other people have gone to, and usually most of us are doing in India, which we may or may not like. It's only for the sake of money and good jobs, and yeah, कभी कभी हम अलग अलग फील्ड्स में भी होते हैं, किसी और कोई और फील्ड अच्छी लगती है, किसी और फील्ड में होते हैं, लेकिन यहाँ पे एजुकेशन सिस्टम ऐसा है कि people do what they like, and if you come here then you won't have to face that thing, like कि वो करना कि like जब हम इंडिया में कुछ चूज करने वाले होते हैं तो ये पूछते हैं कि is that thing good, is that field good, what are the job perspectives for that, what is the salary for that, and ये सब चीजें दिमाग में आती हैं इंडिया के लिए. बट फॉर हियर दैट डजंट रियली अप्लाई सो मच, क्योंकि यहाँ पे पहले से ही सैलरीज अच्छी खासी होती हैं, और पहले से ही ऑलमोस्ट सब चीज़ में अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ हैं. तो व्हाट रियली मैटर्स इज व्हाट यू वांट टू डू. और यहाँ पे जो भी कुछ करते हैं इन टर्म्स ऑफ एजुकेशन, इन टर्म्स ऑफ करियर, वो पूरा दिल लगा के करते हैं. लाइक not like putting your whole thing in it, putting your whole efforts in it.
There are a lot of questions about the money factor. जैसे कि हम यहाँ पे रहते हैं तो हमें पता है कि दिल्ली के लाइफस्टाइल में हमें कितने खर्च करने पड़ेंगे per month. So as a middle class boy, he will always think that I am going in a other country like Germany. So हमें यहाँ से वहाँ की चीजें कुछ नहीं पता है कि how much it will cost monthly. So can you give a rough figure in Indian rupees that yes, इतना amount हमें वहाँ खर्च करना पड़ता है, other than that college वाला tuition fee वाला part?
So living expenses के लिए including rent and health insurance और बाकी सारे expenses, it is usually around 650 euros. और ये भी सिटी टू सिटी डिपेंड करता है. कुछ सिटीज कम एक्सपेंसिव होती हैं, कुछ ज्यादा एक्सपेंसिव होती हैं, लेकिन मिड टीयर सिटीज के लिए आई वुड से 650 यूरोस के आसपास, और एक्सपेंसिव सिटीज के लिए 750 और कम एक्सपेंसिव के लिए 600 euros per month.
600 into 9, that is approx 54,000 rupees per month.
Yes.
This is a large amount.
And this comes with the money that you had deposited earlier for 1 year whole. जो 9 या 10 लाख आप डिपॉजिट करेंगे उसी में से आएगा, लेकिन वो पहले साल के लिए होता है. लेकिन यहाँ पे ज्यादातर लोग ऐसा करते हैं कि पढ़ाई के साथ साथ जॉब भी करते हैं, पार्ट टाइम जॉब.
Yeah.
तो काफी सारा खर्चा उससे भी निकल आता है. और कुछ लोग अगर जितने मैक्सिमम लिमिट है करने की 80 आवर्स पर मंथ, अगर उतना करें तो जितना आपने डिपॉजिट किया है पहले वो पूरा बच भी जाता है.
So that depends on the part-time income.
या डेट डिपेंड्स ऑन पार्ट टाइम इनकम, लेकिन यहाँ पे पार्ट टाइम इनकम का मिनिमम वैल्यू सेट है. और minimum you can get from part-time income is 500 or 600 euros per month. तो अगर आपके 500 यूरो कमा रहे हैं और 600 यूरो का खर्चा हो रहा है तो हर महीने सिर्फ 100 यूरो जाएंगे. और अगर आप ज़्यादा काम करेंगे, अगर आप फुल लिमिट में काम करेंगे तो यू कैन अर्न अबाउट 800 यूरोस पर मंथ. और अगर खर्चा हो रहा है 600 यूरोस का तो 200 यूरोस की सेविंग मतलब.
This is a large amount in Indian form. So now we are getting the questions only of Germany. Is there anyone who still have any doubts regarding the MBA wala part? Otherwise, we will wrap up this event. We are already overdue 24 minutes. I'm waiting. I guess it's done. People have really enjoyed, even if me enjoyed this session very well. You both were very linear and decent. You answered our questions in a very nice manner. You've given your time, your such precious time. That was really needy for us.
Thank you.
Really happy to help anybody who needs help. And I hope you guys can make good career decisions with this and you guys know what you're going to do in the future. And I hope you guys be really, really successful. Just best wishes for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if somebody has, I think I can paste my LinkedIn profile if somebody has any specific questions regarding Germany
Yeah, I'll
in the
place
chat
the
box.
LinkedIn
Yeah,
profile of yours.
feel free to contact me.
Okay then. Thank you. Thanks a lot. It was really great session. We were really
You're welcome.
thankful for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good day, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. You may leave. You guys may leave the meeting. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye.